Hi, welcome to Truth of Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 45 coming at you tonight. We're going to talk about Michigan's big win over Ohio State. We're going to talk about LeBron and beef stew a week after we've kind of been able to reassess and evaluate things. And also the Lions. Another loss. Shocking.
Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best 45 in sports. Bob Gibson, St. Louis pitcher. He was a rock star. He was one of the reasons why...
Do you know who actually is the best 45? It counts.
I don't know.
Michael Jordan. Worked for like 8 games.
Oh, yeah.
That's too easy.
Then the NBA said, no, you can't do that.
I think he might have worked baseball too. But I'm looking at like the 8-game Bulls Michael Jordan.
Okay. In that 8 games, he's probably the GOAT because he's the GOAT.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the fraud GOAT later on.
Fraud GOAT, yes.
We're not there yet.
Okay. Bunch of off-the-top stuff. We were going to make this a topic, but decided because the Tigers did not sign Carlos Correa, they signed Baez and Erod. You know, some signings. They'll be interesting next year. Obviously, we all wanted Carlos. You hate it.
I do. I'll stand by that. If he's awesome, I will just be the first guy to say I was wrong.
Yeah, 2 things. We need him to not strike out 200 times a year and play pretty well. And ideally, they are not signing a $330 dude because they want to be able to buy some other guys.
He's also a punk, Baez.
He's a bit of a punk.
And not like a cool punk, like some might call beef stew.
Beef stew's cool punk.
Javier Baez is fake.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about
Listen,
that.
you know what? If he starts off well, Detroit fans are going to love him. They're going to get behind him. But if he starts to do dick things, I can't imagine that's going to go well. But Detroit media is not as bad as New York media. Detroit fans, I think, are a lot more loyal to their dudes than New York fans.
Well, he went from Chicago to New York, and those are 2 tough places to play.
Yep.
And not that Detroit's easy, but like our expectations are pretty low. So he doesn't need to be an all-star, right?
Yeah, is Correa just going to go back to the Astros? Like, I know there hasn't been much talk
the Yankees.
about that. Is that it for sure?
I bet. 340, probably.
That sucks.
They're going to sign him for something dumb, and I'm not going to watch baseball.
Yeah, a couple interesting signings, right? Scherzer signed for big money. Texas just spending like over $500 million on 2 dudes.
Who lost more games than the Tigers last year, right? Like the Tigers
Texas
had a better record.
Yep.
So that's good. Good job.
Just quick NFL. There's so many crappy quarterbacks out there. Man, just like we did it on the weekend. Like 12 teams.
Almost half. Yeah. You can make the case for like 50% of NFL teams do not have a long-term option at quarterback.
And at the beginning of the season, it didn't look like there was very many teams that needed QBs. Now there's a ton.
Yeah, because like Roger Stafford, there's only kind of a few when they were on the block. Same with Watson. There's only a few teams. Now there's probably like 15, 14.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And as always, right, the NFL draft, the closer it gets, the higher the quarterbacks are going to come up. I still think the Lions don't pick a quarterback, but we'll defer that to
I got a couple notes on that later.
Just a couple of quick basketball notes. Golden State, Phoenix, good game last night.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State and Phoenix are the 2 best teams in the West. I think something is going to have to happen for one of those 2 teams not to make the finals. And then the East, Miami, Milwaukee, Brooklyn. Right, Brooklyn, who the heck knows with Flat.
Yeah, we're not talking about these right? This is next episode probably.
Okay. But Bam Adebayo, what you just told me.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. It's okay. He's overrated anyways. Just move Jimmy to the 5. They'll figure it out. It's not a big deal.
Jimmy can guard anybody.
Yeah. Duncan Robinson run the stretch 4.
This is the anniversary, like 26 years ago, where Rodman had a game where he had 0 points and 28 rebounds in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Detroit Red Wings, getting better. They got good young dudes. But my question is this the year the Leafs might actually like win a playoff series?
Maybe a series, yeah.
Yep.
They're not going to win. Like, it's just...
That's entertaining. It's entertaining for the fans to plan out the parade route and... college bowl season, like, it just sucks, and it sucked. It sucked for so long.
Might be better.
Figure this out.
Right, doing 12 teams starting next year, probably. So
really,
I think so. We'll talk about that. Can we just get into that now, or what else you got?
Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Just tell us what you're doing. You're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got tickets for I think we're up to 13 guys. Like, we're just going. A ton of us are going on opening night. It's gonna be cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Awesome. Sports, kind of. Ted Lasso, worth watching. You haven't watched it?
No.
Very entertaining. You should watch it. Okay, Michigan, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I get a couple of takes.
Yeah, go. You got to watch from start to finish.
I got to watch. I was a little late. Like I missed the first half drive, but then Michigan just kept running the ball down the field. I mean, there was a whole lot of plays where Michigan just ran between the tackles. So, you talk to smart football dudes. If you win the line of scrimmage, as long as your quarterback doesn't give the ball away, you win, right? And Michigan, they decided last spring they were going to be a running, smash mouth football team, which most teams do not do in college, right? They spread it out.
Or the NFL.
For 500
It's just not,
or
it's
the
just
NFL.
not football.
Correct.
Not anymore.
But Michigan decided that's what they're going to do. They won the point of attack, and they could not block David Jabo and Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson was amazing. Like, what did you tell me? He had like 24 pressures or something stupid.
I think he had like 15 QB pressures, so like maybe every other pass play he was there, every third, something nuts. Like, so Hutch, he's now the number 1 overall prospect, right?
Is he really? I mean, I saw a mock draft
something
with that. But
I saw a mock, but I saw one of the like college football ranking, CBS, something had Hutchinson as the number 1 prospect in the NFL draft.
Listen, I love him, but I don't think he's worthy of the number 1 pick. I think it's probably still Thibodeau, but we'll see.
I've got a good take later.
And how well does his game translate to the pros?
Hutch?
Yeah.
Not as good as Thibs.
Yeah.
Ojabo's, he's got a higher ceiling. Ojabo probably has a higher ceiling than Hutchinson, I would think.
I hope he comes back next year because that'd be good because he has a good year. Then he could be top 5 next year.
Because he might have jumped to like top 15-ish now. So, and we'll talk about where the Lions might be picking if the Rams keep losing.
Yep.
But
anyway, so interesting thing about Michigan, it was a calculated decision that they were just going to ram the football whole season. The one game where they didn't do that,
the Michigan State game?
The Michigan State game, and they lost. So it's fun to watch if you like beating somebody in the neck.
It's good football.
And they did that. Ohio State is amazing. Their wide receivers are better than most pro wide receiver threesomes. Like, and the translation from college to pro is usually bullcrap because people are like, oh, Alabama could beat Jacksonville. No. The worst NFL team destroys the best college team.
It's like if I go and play a bunch of grade school kids, even if the grade school kids are awesome, I'm going to win, right?
Yeah,
it's
the 6'1", and you can, like, you're just bigger and stronger and better. Like, Penei Sewell was, that's not a great example, but...
Get 5th graders and put them against 1st graders. Even though the 1st graders are awesome,
okay, let's look at the Ohio State quarterbacks. They've had 2 guys,
Bums.
Haskins and Fields, that were amazing in college. They suck.
Who's the guy before that? Barrett?
Barrett.
And he was awesome.
Amazing. And they suck when they get to the pro. So it's a very different game. But Ohio State's wide receivers, their 3 wide receivers, can match up with like Cincinnati's dudes and Dallas's dudes because they're going to be in the pros. Like Alabama last year when they had all their guys.
Yeah, past couple years, Alabama's just
very rarely do you see that much skill. But Michigan decided they're going to play too deep. They're going to give up lots of underneath stuff. They made some amazing plays. It was awesome. And now it's a rivalry again. Listen, we called it a rivalry, but it's not a rivalry if you get 10 losses.
No, I disagree. I think it's still a rivalry, even though Ohio State has owned it the past, decade and a half.
If Ohio State won on Saturday, you could still call it a rivalry, but it's not a competition.
So I got a couple. So people are talking about. So do you have any more Ohio State?
I got a couple more things. Why don't you jump in?
So I was at work. Boss clutched up, put on the game for us. We watched a good chunk of it, to be totally honest.
Is that Sonny?
Steve.
Steve. Good job, Steve. West Side, right?
Yeah, shout out Steve.
West Side.
Wow. So I watched a good chunk of the game, made some friends with customers, threw the game on, watched. It was awesome. I caught a lot of it. Ohio State's 3 wide receivers, that was probably my biggest takeaway from the Ohio State side, is they just made plays that they should not have made that kept them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's probably a handful of plays that if one of the Ohio State dudes doesn't make a ridiculous play, Michigan gets the ball back in good field position and then just goes down the field and gets a field goal.
Yeah, that
easy.
first touchdown, that like 3rd and 19 play where he caught it like behind the dude's back with one hand.
Mm-hmm. And now Michigan does not have the weapons to have a shootout in that sense with Ohio State. No. They don't pay their guys enough. Ohio State pays their superstars.
And they lost their best wide receiver, Ronnie Bell, first game of the season.
Yeah, good, very good note, right? People are forgetting that. That, like, maybe going into the year, probably their best offensive player.
Yes. Captain of the team.
Captain, and he's still been on the sideline every game, so good for Ronnie Bell. But Michigan, like, has no business beating Ohio State right? Michigan, they're opposite teams. They kind of expose Ohio State, which I like, right? Whenever a super team loses, and Ohio State the past few years has essentially been a super team.
Alabama, Georgia,
Clemson,
although Clemson seems to have taken a little bit of a dip. Ohio State, they just recruit better than everybody. So if somebody gets injured, they're pulling a 5-star freshman off the bench and say, okay, you get that.
That LSU team a couple years ago with Burrow and
that was awesome.
Like that team was nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Michigan won a big game, especially against Ohio State. That's awesome. I don't think this Michigan team is the best Michigan team in the past few years.
Nope.
I think the 2016 Michigan team, right? That was like...
Was that the 4th-1 to Ohio State, that loss?
Jabril Peppers, Devin Bush, Chase Winovich. Remember, like, that team was sweet.
Rashad Gary?
Yep, Rashawn Gary was the other guy. Great team. I don't remember much about the offense, to be totally honest. It was a defensive team. But I think they were better than this team now. That's my take.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I don't think there's a lot of great college teams this year. It's just one of those years. There's been lots of the pros. Lots of the awesome college dudes went to pros early. Last year I think last year was not a good developmental year for people, so they kind of missed out on stuff.
For nobody, all the teams, pretty much.
Like Holy Name's senior boys volleyball team this year. They're not very good because they didn't get to play last year. Although they got a couple of solid middles, right?
They're going to develop their young guys. They'll be good. Don't worry.
It's a rebuilding year for them?
It's a little rebuild.
Good.
A couple good veterans there.
Did Matt Walsh come back again?
Maybe.
For a 6th year?
No. We'll figure it out.
No?
Was he a true freshman? Like, did they redshirt him his first year?
I don't think they redshirt him. No, he played. He played with you.
I feel bad for Sparty.
I feel bad for Sparty, too.
Why do you feel bad for Sparty?
Well, I think they actually have a pretty solid squad. They did a really good job with the transfer portal thing. But, they lost when they shouldn't have lost earlier in the year. And that hurt them.
So I feel bad for them because, first of all, 10 years, $95 million is just dumb. Like, I can't get behind that. No matter.
Otherwise, he goes. And he still may go.
He's still going to go. I guarantee he's not going to be there for the next decade. I guarantee it. But the fact that they did this, A, mid-season, and B, right before a road conference game, like a Big Ten game, I think is just a terrible look. And I guarantee you that lit a spark in Purdue, and that's why they lost. So I think it's just a really dumb look. And Michigan State should have won that game. They should be in the playoff right now.
Michigan State should have beat Ohio State?
Michigan State should have beat Purdue.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And then we're having a different conversation going into that Ohio State game.
I agree with you.
Whereas Michigan State already had a loss by the time they played OSU, right? Whereas if that was their first loss, they're kind of on a similar path that Michigan is on, right? So I think the signing is dumb. Like 10 years, $95 million, that's dumb. We just saw maybe the two best coaches in college football, two of the top few, just to leave. And leave really good programs.
Yeah.
So I think even though Michigan State has a solid program, if in 2 years there's a big opening somewhere, LSU wants their next guy, whatever, Tucker's going to leave.
Yeah, Sparty just is not going to draw as much as a Michigan, as a Notre Dame. It's not going to have the same type of notoriety. And
USC.
USC, let's be really clear, and plus the teams in the South. Sparty's had lots of issues the last few years with scandals,
bad
sex stuff.
Yep.
So realistically, some other stuff is going to come up because that's just the way Sparty is.
Yep. Michigan's better too. While we're on that, like just to talk about how bad Michigan State is, Michigan's better.
Yeah. I got a couple more takes about the game. So Hutch, obviously awesome. Where does that bring him in the Heisman discussion, and does he make it to the Final Four?
I think he has to at this point because I know they don't necessarily want team success to have a huge factor on the Heisman, but if Michigan,
it's relevant.
If there's a chance Michigan is the number one team in the country in a few days, there's a chance that that's the case.
Yeah.
And you need to have the best player on that team, and the best player is Hutchinson. So I think there is a lot of cases.
So Bryce Young, unless he completely poops the bed against Georgia,
you might have Kenneth Walker there.
He wins. The Ohio State quarterback, what's his name? Stroud or
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. There's an Ole Miss quarterback who's got a lot of stats too.
Ole Miss Pickett, like the Pitt quarterback, his name like Kenny Pickett or a cool name like that. He's got to run. There's some sick linebacker for Alabama. he might get there. Like if they do the defensive route.
Listen, I don't think Hutch is going to win, but it'd be awesome if he gets a sit.
Okay, well, I'm wearing the Chuck Woodson shirt. Whatever, 97. It was Charles. Do you remember who the finalists were?
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Charles Woodson.
And Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
And Charles Woodson had no shot.
Yeah.
And Charles Woodson won. So just put Hutchinson in the room. That's all I want.
That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. Michigan are 11-point favorites to beat Iowa. They need to stick to the game plan, and they need to win.
Iowa, I was doing some study today on Iowa. Good defense, respectable defense. Offense isn't spectacular. So, man, if Michigan just can control the ball and, like, clock manage. Like, if they have the clock.
Win the grinder, right? Win 20-14 or something like that.
And Iowa is, like, Michigan and Iowa have just played tough, right? If you look at their last game, when they played a couple years ago, the final might have been 10-3 Michigan.
Iowa plays Michigan tough. They always have. I like some of the throwing shade back and forth. And the one line that I love the best, right? When Harbaugh said about Ryan Day, sometimes people are standing on third base and they think they hit a triple, but they didn't, right? Because what happened is Day jumped through the rankings really quick, and suddenly he's coaching an all-star team at Ohio State, and Harbaugh doesn't like that. And I like that shade. Ryan, do not say you want to hang 100 points on Michigan. You can't say that the week before.
I hate Ohio State's just punks. There's a little bit of respect I have, but I don't think we have a lot of Ohio State viewership.
No, it's not. Our target market is not Columbus, Ohio.
No.
You guys suck. Why don't you learn how to spell?
And the one person that is watching from Ohio, go blue. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, do you have anything else about the game, about Iowa?
No, beat Iowa. You're going to have to give me updates on Saturday. Actually, I've got a wedding on Saturday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ken and Tammy. I may have to step out for a couple minutes, and I'm the master of ceremonies, so
wow,
that'll be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I'll text you updates. I'll be watching.
Okay, good. LeBron abuse too. Mm-hmm. You go first.
I just want to say, before we get into this, we have a little bit of bias. We like the Pistons and Isaiah a little bit, and
a little bit,
and we might not love the Lakers.
No, sorry, Evan. You might want to just skip this section.
Yeah, if you're a Laker guy or a LeBron guy, just the only good that you'll get here is just you'll get educated on Detroit culture. So we're a little biased, just so that's out there.
Here's my first take, and this is cool, especially for the old school Pistons fans. When you think of the Lakers and a nemesis from Detroit named Isaiah, you think of Isaiah Lord Thomas III when he freaking punched you guys in the face 6 feet.
Literally.
And took a championship. Oh my God. Him and Magic went at each other hard. And you need to watch the tape of Isaiah scoring 25 points in the third quarter on a severely sprained ankle.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
There's a new Isaiah in town, not punching you in the face, taking a punch. But man, did he lose his crap. That was not... a lot of NBA fighters ooh, hold me back.
Let's get into that.
Hold me back.
There's fake hold me back guys.
Yeah.
And then I would probably go into that realm. I'm usually holding people back when that
usually we would be peacemakers. Yeah. So
there's a few guys that are fake hold me back guys.
Yeah.
Or hold me back guys is someone who actually isn't going to throw hands, right?
Yeah, and you've got a 5'2", 110-pound girl who somehow seems to be able to hold you back.
Right. So a fake fake hold me back guy, I would say Pat Bev. I don't know if Pat Bev is really about that life.
No,
Pat
Bev wants to fight.
I think I don't know. I don't
really?
know. Montrezl Harrell. I don't buy. No. Westbrook. No. Those are fake. They're not actual fighters, right? A real fighter.
Yeah.
The Morris brothers. They're lunatics.
Morris brothers, they want to fight.
James Johnson. He's a UFC fighter. He's a lunatic.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan was the only dude who seemed to be come on.
DJ will fight.
He's
right?
He's a big dude.
PJ Tucker.
Oh, PJ Tucker's
half of the Miami Heat roster. Just so that's there.
Yeah.
Not Duncan, probably not. But PJ Tucker.
Duncan is great serving toast. Okay?
UD Haslam, Jimmy, obviously. So I consider Stu a real he actually wants to fight. LeBron does not, and I don't blame him because he's one of the best players ever.
You can't be a great player and fight.
So LeBron, people are saying that it's an accident. If you think it's an accident, you're just delusional.
So my take is he wanted to hit him. He didn't want to open them up.
See, I think he didn't want to open them up because he knew he'd miss a game.
Yes.
And he needs the numbers.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was doing. He knew that he was going to clock him, and he wanted to send a message. So if you think it's accidental, you're just dumb, and you're blinded. Now, on our side, if you think LeBron's a dirty player, I think you're also dumb. I don't think LeBron is dirty.
If Isaac and I are playing one-on-one and he hits 4 jumpers on me, you know what I'm going to do?
You just hit me.
I hit him.
It's not a really good comparison.
Well, it is, because sometimes you just do things to get some type of a competitive edge because you're losing in some way. Now, LeBron is not losing to Beef Stew, but he's probably getting out-hustled and outworked.
In that game, they were losing by quite a bit at that time. We're not going to talk about the outcome, but...
Yeah, who cares?
No, actually, who cares? It's a good point.
Yeah.
So, LeBron's not dirty. He has had many dirty plays. Mm-hmm. If you look, he's had some chippy plays, for sure. But he is not a dirty player. There's not a lot of dirty guys in the NBA anymore.
Nope. There's
a few guys that... Right? Remember Dellavedova?
Yes.
At Cleveland? He just wanted to go and injure people.
Yeah.
Zaza Pachulia, he wants to injure people.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of dirty players in the current basketball world, I don't think.
No, I agree with you. So when it happened, obviously we were going nuts. Daniela comes downstairs and it's like, what is going on? It was very exciting, right? And we just kept coming back.
4 times.
Beef Stew was not of sound mind and body at that particular
He
time.
was until he saw how much blood he shed.
Then he just lost it.
And then he lost it. And then he realized, I'm going to get tossed, so I might as well just keep going.
You know, and Isaac and I were talking about, okay, we're thinking minimum 5-game suspension, maybe 8 games, maybe 10 games.
Yeah.
And my thought is they had to have some type of suspension for LeBron. And Stu had to have a longer suspension. But they didn't want to suspend Braun for more than a game. So then they just gave Stu 2.
Oh, if LeBron wasn't LeBron, right? If the guy that hit him was John Smith. So it was John Smith and Isaiah Stewart. John Smith probably gets 2 or 3, and Isaiah probably gets 5 or 6.
Yep.
Yeah. So the fact that LeBron was involved actually helped us because Stewart only missed 2 games. And I'm happy with the suspension. There are some people saying, on one end, oh, LeBron shouldn't have got suspended at all. And I think he should have. And then there's the other end saying that, no, Stewart shouldn't get suspended. He didn't start it. Look, I know LeBron started it, but you can't do what Stewart did and then have less of a punishment than LeBron.
Yeah. The first shot was fired by LeBron, but then Stewart came back with cannons.
He fired the next 8 shots.
Yep.
And they weren't just shots. They were
they were bombs.
They were bombs. Good take, yeah.
Okay. Does this help either team?
Should not help the Lakers. The fact that they have 6 Hall of Famers and they barely beat a team led by a kid.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think the Lakers are going to win this year. They're too old, too dysfunctional with Westbrook, and it's just, I don't think it's
I'm
their
not there
year.
yet. I'm not there
and
yet.
I also think this is LeBron's last chance to win. Right? If the stars align and Westbrook can take a step back and Davis and LeBron are perfectly healthy for the playoffs, but they need Malik Monk and Ellington. What's the dude that they signed? Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn from Miami.
Has he played at all?
No, he's been injured.
Yeah. So those guys get healthy, then the Lakers have a legitimate shot.
I'm not there yet.
Happens.
But the fact, the Lakers are parading after beating a crappy Pistons team a couple times. Dude, you've got 6 Hall of Famers. That's they do.
Yep.
And they are a super team. They should not be in tight ball games, getting in fights, getting suspensions because of some 20-year-old kid got in a fight with LeBron.
Yeah, the Pistons win range this year is, well, if you look at the stats right now, it's quarter way through the season. That means they're going to win 16 games. Now, I think they're going to win a little bit more than that because I think they're going to be better, but their cap is 25 games, right? The Lakers should win 55 games, and I don't think they're going to get there.
Easily 55 games.
But they're not going to get there. They're going to be a 5 seed or a 6 seed, maybe. But now LeBron is going to have to sit for a little bit. And I think that's not terrible for him to sit during these times to rest a little bit. But
he doesn't want MVP anymore.
Does this help the Pistons?
I think it does a little.
I think it brings them a little tighter.
Instead of winning 25 games, maybe they win 27 games.
And it's probably instead of winning 20, they win 22.
Yeah, I was a little generous there.
Yeah.
Look, the Pistons got some national media headlines, which they have not had since when? Since Blake Griffin left, probably.
Since they drafted Cade.
Yeah, they didn't even get a ton for
Cade had a sweet game last night. You know what?
Yeah,
I can't watch late games. Isaac sent me a video of just Cade's That's the kind of stuff that I need. That was sweet. He made some
Effortless.
shots.
He's just
He just plays at like he's going to be good. Man.
he's so good.
He's missing a lot of shots right now. He like up till prior to last night, he was in a bit of a shooting slump. But his shots are just coming out. He's going to be more aggressive. I'm not worried about him.
He's so good. He's going to be an all-star. Not next. I don't think they'll give it to him next year, but the year after, he's definitely an all-star.
Yep.
He's going to be dropping like 24, 8, and 8 easily.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Anything else on this take? LeBron, be better than that. He tried to be. Just didn't. I don't think he would do it, but he would admit it. Say, listen, they were playing hard. Had to just teach the young blood a bit of lesson.
I would have. If I would love if he said that.
Yeah.
But he's
not going to say that.
He's not going to. He kept saying it was an accident. It was an accident. Just like I think even a lot of Lakers and LeBron guys know.
Yeah, you're not a dirty player, but you gave it to a kid just because he was annoying you. It's okay, admit it.
Right on, and I think that Stewart didn't handle it great, but he's got nothing to lose. Like I'm all for him doing that.
I still think the Pistons draft a big guy next year, and Stewart is an awesome guy off the bench. Depending on how he's playing,
I'm getting closer to Green.
Maybe even closes that. You don't need to worry about fouls. Listen, the Pistons are still going to need some guys, and it shows you how rough. Like they're very dependent on Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I think I want Grant traded though.
You mean this offseason?
Soon.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay. Lions. So I have some questions. Will they be 0-16-1?
No.
Who are they going to beat?
They're going to beat Atlanta, and they're going to beat one more team.
Oof. Okay. So I think they're going to be 0-16-1.
Really?
There's just not many winnable games left. And it looks like DeAndre Swift is going to be out for multiple weeks.
Jamal Williams season. He's an animal.
He's dinged up. Oh, man.
He'll be fine. I picked him up in fantasy. He's awesome.
Then they've got a couple of young guys like
Godwin
and
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Neither of them are terribly good. Listen, I want them to be close. I want them to be competitive. Maybe one, but they're going to be... They're going to 0-16-1, I think, is the most likely scenario.
They're going to beat... I think they're definitely going to beat Atlanta, because Atlanta sucks. And then they're going to steal a game. Maybe from Minnesota this weekend. Maybe from... It'll be tough to win Denver. But their last two games are Seattle and Green Bay. Seattle may be full tank mode. And Green Bay may be rest COVID boy, toe boy, Aaron Rodgers. And they can seal one of those two games.
Yeah, because Love kind of appears to suck.
Well, they'll put in Blake Bortles. So... We'll get
Blake Bortles' knee throwing left-handed after my shoulder surgery.
Yeah, and maybe you're like sitting down. Like, sitting down. I don't think you're standing.
Okay. Is Dan Campbell the long-term solution as head coach?
Long-term in what sense? Like, is he bringing a Super Bowl to Detroit?
No, let's not get crazy. He has a 6-year contract. Does he make it 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people are calling for Campbell's head. I'm not. He's a kid.
He's very new. They signed him to a 6-year deal because they knew this was a long rebuild. They're not going to admit it, but they're not expecting to win this year or next year. The third year, they expect to start win a few games, and we cannot judge him until 2 years from now.
I'm fair with that. Yeah. I think he's going to learn a lot, and once he gets his boys right, like the guys on the team, most of them aren't his. So once he gets his locker room, then I can kind of fairly judge him.
Okay, 2 years from now, start to name players that will still be on the team. I wrote down a bunch. I did some research.
Sewell.
Yep.
Ragnow.
Yep.
Hawkinson.
Yep.
Maybe Swift.
Yep.
Okuda.
Yep.
Derek Barnes. Any of the rookies
that
drafted
Derek Barnes,
this year.
yeah. Who else?
Unzerike, McNeil.
Yep.
Melifonwu.
Who's that?
The cornerback. He's been on IR all year, the rookie. I think any of the guys that drafted this year.
Amari.
Unfortunately,
I spelled that right here.
Tracy Walker.
Julian Okora.
Yep.
Pretty good.
One of the two Okoras.
AJ Parker, like the undrafted free agent. I like him. I hope he sticks around. We're forgetting a huge
Jerry Jacobs?
piece. Yep.
Who's the huge piece?
Jack Fox.
Jack Fox.
Best punter in the league.
He actually is.
Yeah,
he actually is the best punter in the
he's
the
awesome.
football league.
So there's they have some guys, but very few skill position. Right? There's no defensive ends.
Defensive end. Watch. This is such a good take. When I was I just ready.
Yeah.
I want the Lions to win more games than they should and not get first overall. Houston/Jacksonville/Jets, one of those awful teams, loses, gets first overall. They have the pressure of picking Thibs or Hutchinson, and the Lions are second overall, and they can pick Hutchinson. No worries. Everyone in Detroit and Michigan is happy, and then the national media doesn't blast him because Thibodeau is off the board. So I want the Lions to win a couple games. We'll give Houston first overall because they're fun, and we'll let them have the pressure. And let's say they pick Hutchinson first overall. Mm-hmm. Michigan or Detroit picks Thibodeau second overall, and everyone's like, great value. That's my take.
It's an interesting take. We need to see a little bit more. The problem is none of these guys are going to go to the combine, right? Like if you're a top 5 drafted, Hutchinson, let's assume he's fast, right? But he's going to say, oh, he's 4.5, 40 fast. Now he's probably 4.7. But he's just got quick off the ball speed.
So do you know where the Rams... So the Rams have dropped some games. Stafford looks like the Stafford of old. I'm not overreacting. Like, I still think the Rams might win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But instead of drafting 32nd, now they're going to draft 23.
As of right now, the Rams are 22nd.
Really?
Yeah. Whew. 22nd overall.
Be good wide receivers that'll be available.
Okay, so let's say first overall. Let's say you pick Thibs first overall. You pick Thibodeau first overall. And 22nd overall, you have a couple options. You go Ohio State wide receiver, insert name, or
one of the QBs.
Or like Malik Willis is, I think, like the Liberty, people like him. Or if David Ojabo's on the board, you get Thibs. Why not?
You don't pick 2 defenses.
That'd be so awesome.
Yes, it would be, but realistically, they don't have any playmakers. Swift is their best playmaker. Hawkinson is solid, but he's not like...
He's not even that good for playing. Like, he just catches and falls.
Like Skittle or... yes, I know it's Kittle. He's not as good as Kelsey. Like, he's a top 6 tight end. He's not...
You were saying that the other day. It's because tight end is not a position of... Right?
No.
There's not a ton of good tight ends in the NFL. And the really good ones aren't tight ends, like Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts,
like
Travis
Pitts
Kelce.
Is really a tight end, but is he a tight end?
Kelce is kind of a tight end, but he moves like a wide receiver. Like he can run. Yeah. So
Gronk is a tight end, but
Gronk's a tight end.
Okay, Christmas is coming up. Get some merch. Here's the question. Isaac and I just talked about this the other day. We talked about it with our marketing consultant.
All of them, actually.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, we get the team together. Les, Deo, Evan, Daniela. If we're going to do another run, like, do you guys want hats? What do you want? Like sweatbands? I'm a big sweatband fan.
Sweatband we could do. That'd be cool.
I recognize not many people are, but the true sweatbands would be pretty cool.
Or wristbands.
Wristband. Oh, that's nice. A little one-to-one wristband action. So tell us what kind of merch you want. Topics. And now I'm going to get off my keister and line some guests up. Ben Wallace still has not responded to our messages. So
no, he did.
He did?
Yeah, he said he's busy.
Okay, maybe next year. Yeah, okay, but we're going to get some more guests on here. A lot of people do podcasts, and all they do is line up guests. We want to do this, but mix in some guests.
Yeah, right? Like, I know you guys love us so much. You just want to hear us talk about
but
how bad the Lions are.
Yeah.
So we won't talk about how bad the Lions are.
Yeah, I really need to reiterate that the Lions have the worst wide receivers and the worst tight ends in football.
And linebackers.
That's a fresh take. Yeah, linebackers.
But in 3 years, the Lions are going to be so good, and we're going to look back at these and be like, hey, remember when the Lions were bad?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be nice.
Victory is sweet, especially when you're coming from the cellar, right? And the Detroit teams are on the rebound. Listen. In 3-4 years, we're going to be the city champions, and people are going to be jealous.
City champions?
The city of champions.
Oh, okay.
The punks from Boston and New York and Chicago, they're like,
Racists.
Man, those guys in Boston, they're all racist.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, man, it's awesome to be in Detroit. They're going to take road trips here just because you can see so many good sports teams.
See, we won't take road trips. We'll just go to Detroit.
Yeah, we'll just go to Detroit, and you get to see champions. Okay? Mm-hmm. You heard it here first. Peace out.
Team Town Nation.
Team Town Nation.